Did you just say that you write reviews of destinations? Places like hotels, aeroplanes, museums, games, movies? Oh, you thought you got away with a product review update back in March? And that Broadcore update passed you by? Oh, well, unfortunately, this update's probably for you then. Sorry about that. Welcome to the SEO podcast with me, Andy Kinsey, and it's April 2023, and we have a review system update. Sorry about that, folks. The product review system, which had 6 updates before now, is now the review update. And yeah, as I've just kind of said, it's now everything. So, literally, Google has decided it's no longer just products. This is a review system for everything. So, as an example, Google says this can now affect businesses and services, destinations, as I've just given a few examples, movies, games, TV shows, and if you can class it as a thing, then the review counts. So, yeah, this update's for you. So, let me just read from Google's guidance, and this might help clarify. The review system is designed to evaluate articles, blog posts, pages, or similar first-party standalone content with the purpose of providing a recommendation, giving an opinion, or providing analysis. So basically, if you write a review, it's for you. It doesn't include third-party updates, such as third-party reviews, such as those posted by users in the review section of a product or service page. So, key example here would be, for example, Amazon using user reviews on their site, or if you've got, for example, FIFO on your product pages. Reviews can be about a single thing, or head-to-head comparisons, or ranked lists. Reviews can be about any topic. There we go. Any topic, anything. There can be reviews of products such as laptops, winter jackets, pieces of media such as movies, video games, or services and businesses such as restaurants or fashion brands. They're just giving you a few examples there, but basically they're saying anything. And they repeat that throughout the guidance because they've rewritten it slightly to change the words. Basically, they've changed shoppers for the word people and product for the word thing or something. And they've corrected a bit of grammatical stuff as well to allow for that. And in essence, if you, as I said, if you write reviews of absolutely anything, you're probably included in this. I was speaking to someone yesterday about this, and we think there'll be a few exceptions to this, but I'm not going to go into great detail about that. If you write a review of, let's say, government institute, you might find you're not included in this, but other than that, I can't think of many things that won't be included in this. The 14 best practices are still there. I will link to those in the show notes. Moving on from that, the big thing here is that, of course, we've had, this is now the 7th review system update technically, including the 6 prior product review updates that I've ran from 2021 onwards. So we know what this is about. This is about great content. We also have these mixed in with the larger broad core updates. So that's two things we can mix in with this, and we know what this is all about, and it's still great content. Now, the other thing we can say here is this is all about experience. And this leads us in the industry to really think about this being classed as meeting the standard for what we're saying is double EAT. Now, EAT was experience, authority, and trustworthiness. And that meant for in 2022 what we called writing great content, having unique content, and really showing you the authority. Now, double EAT means going in that step further and writing best-in-class content is what you would really classify this as. And you could really see that as being I think the best way of phrasing this is, and I think it was Search Engine Land really put this best, is saying, instead of phrasing things as, in my experience, you show your hands-on experience. So it goes from you saying, I did this, or this is it. You actually can show it. So, yes, in previous years, you may have tested a tent in a certain way. You'd say, we tested this, it did this. You actually show it with pictures, and you say, it performed like this. And you can do that because you've got videos, you've got pictures. Previously, you might have had one or two pictures, or you may have combined it with a few manufacturer pictures, and that was fine. You did still rank really well for that. But now it's going that step further. It's putting the user first and going, actually, they want this video content. They want these pictures to actually see how it performs. They want quantitative numbers. And they don't just want to know what your experience was and how you felt. They want direct comparison. And so they want the real analysis. And I think someone who does this really well is Linus Tech Tips. So every time he compares a graphics card, he runs a huge batch of tests to compare it to the frames per second for another graphics card, or another 5 graphics cards, and the same for CPUs. And this has now, in recent months, opened up the doors for him opening up a labs, basically consumer labs, where he's going to be doing thousands of these tests to be able to roll out these numbers and ensure actually the electronics works as it should be doing for consumers. And this is like the next step beyond double EAT. And I think we are going to be moving into this mad world of probably quad EAT at some point, thanks to Linus. God knows where the rest of us are going to live. But yeah, it's about the visual experience you put into your reviews. As I say, video and imagery. If you put audio in, such as podcasts and on your videos, obviously. Links to your evidence. So if you can't put all your videos in there, if you're using other people's experiences, then make sure you actually put links to those. Don't just put their images in. Say, actually, you can find the full stuff over here. If you put other people's research in, put links to it. Cite your sources, because it all shows that actually, you're trustworthy because you're citing things properly, but it allows them to go and do more research, and people will still come back to you. Trust me on that one. And then use quantitative and measurements that can be compared. So if you, for example, graphics cards, frames per second can always be compared. So use something that can be compared. Don't just say, it felt really good. No one can say, for example, This pen feels really good. Amazing. Screwdriver feels really good. But so does this one. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. So don't use that as a measurement. The idea of feeling good, it's not really a measurement. So you've got to make things quantitative and something people can understand as well. Now, this, as we know, affects 10 or 11 languages. The last update for product reviews landed that. This continues that. It's about getting rid of low quality content, and that must now abide by the EEAT standard that we believe in. The reality is that EEAT is probably going to be the gold standard. If you can reach EAT standards, you're going to rank fairly well anyway. But going above and beyond pushes you into that realm of actually you're going to beat your competitors every single time. So what are my tips for ensuring that you can beat your competitors every single time? So, informative content, being specific and relevant to whatever you're reviewing. That means that you don't go off on tangents about another product. Write about what you're writing about. Don't write about, if you're writing about, say, a specific tent, don't write about the toggle of the back. Write about the tent. Yeah, you might write a few sentences about how the toggle is great, that holds it together, the bag. But you're writing primarily about the tent. Don't write 3 paragraphs about that toggle. Highlight what makes it special, what makes it unique, what makes it new, and use a couple of paragraphs to compare it to other products, which allows you then to link to those other places. Use images to do that comparison as well. Use videos to compare it. Again, it allows you to link off. Be authentic in your review. Say what you like and you dislike and be honest about it. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't pretend that you like everything. People will see through it, and honestly, they get turned off by it and they'll disappear. And when something goes wrong, show it. So if you're putting up 50 tents and you struggle, show that you've struggled to put it up. That no harm, no foul. The reality is not every tent is easy to put up, and I know that. Be respectful of anything you review. Honestly, I've written enough reviews in my time to understand that no one loves everything. And there are a number of products that I've been asked to review that I've just not put out because, honestly, I've hated them. I'm not going to tell you what they are. And I've just turned around to the people and respectfully said, I'm not doing this. And it's not so much that I don't want to earn the money, but it's because the service or the product they offer either doesn't align with my moral standards, or the product is just crap. It's usually the moral standards issue that catches me though. And that's another thing. If it doesn't align with your moral standards or your business's moral / ethical standards, don't do it. Just don't do it. Because if your customers come along and go, why are they promoting that? Then you have an issue. Now, it's one thing if you've got ad sets on your website and something appears. That's a different thing altogether. But if, for example, you are reviewing, let's say, payday loan provider, and it's completely against everything ethical you stand for, and you suddenly turn around and give it 3 stars out of 5, I don't understand where your business comes from. You've given it an okay review, where ethically you and your business might stand completely opposed to it. If I was a business that was ethically opposed to that, I would be saying, I don't want this business. I don't want to review this. There are other businesses where you turn around and you just wouldn't work with them on the same basis because it doesn't ethically align. And it's the same with many people who don't religiously align with companies. Now, is this technically related to reviews? Yes, it is. Because actually, if it goes to the user experience, if your users aren't going to engage with your content, or they negatively engage and bounce off, then you're in trouble. So you want a positive engagement. You want people to stay there. So if say you were reviewing drinks and the majority of your audience was a specific religion, and you suddenly engaged with an alcoholic drink, but your audience was non-alcohol drinking, you would be in trouble, because actually you've engaged with a brand that isn't aligned with your audience. And that can happen with anything. And that's the example I was talking about with paydays. So it just doesn't always work. And you've got to consider that with anyone you review. And you just have to also be careful with all kinds of things. The other thing here, and my final tip, is to avoid general commentary. So there is a lot of reviews out there that include a lot of general information, and this comes back to the idea of using manufacturer descriptions. Don't include anything manufacturer description related on your reviews. Don't include them, obviously, in your product descriptions. But don't just copy other people's reviews verbatim either. If you're going to cite someone's research or part of their review, take a sentence or two of it, link to their review, and say, you can read the rest of it over here. But you could just change the words and say, actually, this comes from a review over here. It's really good. Go and read it. And they will thank you for that because they're getting some traffic. You get the reader to continue to read because you've linked to something really well, and you've created a more authoritative, trustworthy review because actually you've added great value there. And what you want to do is add a more rounded first-hand piece. So yeah, it's about information and insight, being authentic, being respectful, and writing with the right style, and also not just using a general tone. So that's it. If you write reviews, you're now included. It doesn't matter what you write about. And as I say, write with style. This has been the SEO podcast with me, Andy Kinsey. If you've liked this show, give it a subscribe. And don't forget to hit the share button. Hit us up over at seopodcast.net. See you soon.